All right, let's talk about starting a YouTube channel. If you've ever even thought about it, you know that feeling, right? It can be so overwhelming. Well, today, we're going to cut through all of that noise. We've taken amazing advice from top creators like Ali Abdaal and the data geniuses at vidIQ, and we've put it all together into one clear, simple playbook for anyone starting out in 2026. Ready? Let's dive in. You know, the hardest part isn't really the camera or the editing or any of that tech stuff. It's the sheer number of things you feel like you have to figure out before you can even press record. It's this weird kind of paralysis that can stop a great idea before it even has a chance.
Does that sound a little too familiar? Yeah, that's the voice of overthinking. It's that little voice in your head that says everything has to be perfect right from day one. But what if I told you that entire way of thinking is just wrong? Let's break down a much better way.
Okay, phase one. The mission here is not to find your audience or get a ton of views. Nope, it's about one thing. Just taking action. It's about getting your hands dirty and actually making stuff. Think of this as your training montage.
Now, this is probably the biggest mindset shift you need to make. The old advice was to spend forever trying to find that perfect niche. The new way, the 2026 way, is to just forget about the niche for a little while. Seriously, focus on the craft first. Just get good at making videos, and I promise, your niche will start to find you.
So here's a simple roadmap. Your first 3 videos, they're basically like the first 3 dates. You're just seeing if you even like the process. Is this fun? If the answer is yes, then you commit. You decide to make at least 1 video a week. Now, for the next 7 videos, the goal isn't perfection, it's just progress. With each video, pick one tiny thing to get better at. Maybe it's your titles, your audio, your storytelling, just one small improvement every single time.
All right, you've made it through your first 10 videos, and you've decided, okay, I'm going to take this seriously. Awesome. Welcome to phase 2. Now the focus changes just a little bit. It's all about building a real sustainable habit and starting to collect your very first bits of useful data.
The goal for this first month is beautifully simple. Pick one video format that you actually had fun making back in phase 1, and just do that once a week. That's it. See? By sticking to one format, you're not trying to reinvent the wheel every single time. You're building that muscle memory. You're getting faster. And, this is key, you're giving YouTube a clean set of data so it can start to figure out who your audience is.
And this really is the core idea right now. In the beginning, just the habit of showing up and publishing is so much more powerful than having the perfect strategy. You can worry about strategy later. For now, just make the next video. Now, while consistency is king, there is a really cool tactic you can use right from the jump to build some instant credibility. It's called the Authority Playbook, and it's all about making your second video work together with your first one to get people hooked. It's something called the strategy reveal. So imagine in your first video you make a claim or you teach an idea. Then in your second video, you show the proof. You actually run a 7-day experiment based on that first video, and you share the transparent behind-the-scenes results. Suddenly, you're not just some person talking, you're someone who actually does the thing. And this isn't just a boring report. You turn it into a story. You start with the promise you made in video 1. Then you introduce some conflict, the part where it all almost went wrong. That's so important for making it relatable. Then you have the breakthrough, the solution you found. And finally, the big finish, the raw, undeniable proof, the receipts.
So why is this so powerful right now? Well, look at how perfectly it lines up with what audiences want in 2026. Showing the receipts builds massive trust in a world where everyone's skeptical. The 7-day story creates a binge-worthy narrative. Revealing a tool gives people immediate value. And showing your failures? That makes you human, which is something people are craving in a world full of AI.
Okay, you've put in the reps, you've built a consistent habit, and you've even established a little bit of authority. Welcome to phase 3. Now, and really only now, is it time to start thinking like a strategist and getting smart about how you grow.
To get to the next level, you have to move past just making videos you think are cool. You have to understand the fundamental rules of the YouTube game itself.
So many people get obsessed with the mysterious algorithm. Honestly, forget that. The game is way simpler than you think. It boils down to just 3 things. Number 1, can you get someone to click with a great idea, title, and thumbnail? Number 2, can you keep them watching by delivering on that promise? And number 3, did they feel satisfied when it was over? Did they like or comment or share? That's it. That's the whole game. Okay, now we can finally talk about your niche, but let's redefine it. A niche isn't just a topic, like cooking. A powerful niche is the intersection of a specific person and a specific problem you solve for them. It's not just what you do, it's who you help and how you help them. When you can answer that, you've got something special.
So how do you find your space? Here's a pro tip. Don't just stare at the channels with millions of subscribers. They're playing a totally different game. Instead, look for channels under 100,000 subs that are growing right now. Create a brand new YouTube account and subscribe only to them. All of a sudden, your homepage becomes this amazing, personalized research feed that shows you what's actually working and helps you figure out what your unique angle can be.
To keep things interesting for your audience and for yourself without burning out, you can use something called content buckets. First, you just master one core type of video. Once that feels easy, you add a second, related type of video. Then, a few months later, maybe you add a third bucket for experiments or trending topics. It's how you can expand and grow your channel without going crazy.
But through all of the strategy and the plans, you can never, ever lose sight of this one simple truth. The real secret to long-term success on YouTube isn't about hacking some algorithm. It's about finding that sweet spot between what your audience wants and what you genuinely love to create. That passion, that's your fuel.
And that brings us right back to the beginning, doesn't it? That feeling of paralysis we all get, you don't beat it with more research or a fancier camera, you beat it with one simple action. You hit publish. You don't have to be great to start, but you absolutely have to start to ever become great.
So I'll leave you with this question. Forget the niche for a second, forget the 10-video plan. What is the one single video idea that gets you genuinely excited to make? That's it. That's your starting point. That's your first step.